Hey everybody, so less is more. Nothing can be better than something. All right, so what do I mean by that? Okay. All right, so today's video is for those of you at that part of your journey where you've already learned a scale or two, or you're playing my octave scale, the Ray scale, and you've been playing kind of practicing your whole pattern thing. You're getting pretty proficient going up and down the neck in the same key, just playing the octaves. You could do it in G, or you can do it in C, or you can do it in A. Right, up and down, and you're getting pretty darn good at it, and you should continue to do that. And the faster, the better, okay? But just like when we learned our chords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Faster isn't always better. Playing every beat of every, part of the song is not always better. And then, of course, when we learn our scales, right? So I don't know if it's the major scale. We learn how to walk through it. Doesn't mean it's musical, but we know our scales. We know where to put our fingers. We could probably do it even without looking, but we're not really making music, right? Okay. To make music out of a scale, well, then we have to start looking at the scale differently. We have to put in some intervals. We got to take breaks. We got to let things breathe. We got to match portions of the scale. Maybe a little box here. So in the major scale, we have this little box here, right? Or we have this little box here. And we might just play those 4 notes in a way or in an order that works for our song. So we don't play the whole major scale. All right. For those of you that are doing the octave thing, the Ray scale we call it, where we start in a G and we work our way down. There's another G, slide along, right? There's another G, slide along, and then come back home and finish on the G, right? We could do that with A, we could do it with B, C, and all that kind of stuff, right? And we just keep pounding that. Perfect. That's the best exercise, but it doesn't mean we're making music. But what we have seen in past videos is that we can play a chord progression, right? In this case, C, G, A minor, F. So we can play that, and we can do this little Ray scale thing, right? We could go start at C, right? Okay. That sounds okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Well, now, today we're going to look at, again, less is more. So instead of playing every note, every beat, ba-ba-ba-ba, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and never stop, almost like a bass player mentality, right? We'll leave that to the bass player. Instead of that, well, now we're going to take, whether it's our favorite scale or it's the Ray scale or whatever it is, and we're going to sort of just apply it in bits and pieces as we need it and then get out. And what we're doing in the process, it's sort of known as letting the chord progression breathe, right? Or let the song breathe, or, leave the airiness in the song. That's kind of some of the wording you might hear. Someone will say, hey, let's let that breathe a little bit, okay? Lead guitar player, let's let that breathe. So what they're saying is, don't clog up the arteries having to play every note on every beat. And sure, it can sound great, no problem. But that's not always what you want. Okay, so in here we're going to look at backing off a little bit and picking our spots to create little, licks, riffs, leads, accoutrements, whatever you want to call them. okay? All right, so same chord progression, but now we're going to take a different approach. And we're even going to play the same notes and the same boxes. We're just going to take a different rhythmic approach, okay? So here's what I mean. Still going to start in C. Hear the difference? So as you can see, this can be done in a variety of ways. We can pick out little loops within the song, okay? So as I listen to this song, I might hear something like, or, and I'll only play that throughout the song at every 4, 8, or whatever beats, but I'll keep it consistent. So that's the difference between that and this. That's the difference, right? I mean, look, both of them work. They're both fine. They're both sort of musical. It's just one gives us a different texture, a different sound, a different overall sort of vibe of a song, and the other one gives us the opposite. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. They both work. But it's a good idea to start, again, just sort of, letting things breathe and just pick your spots and zip in and zip out as needed, okay? So don't be afraid of that. Don't think you have to go all out all the time. If the song's at 100 beats a minute, well, you got to be in there 100 beats a minute to match. You don't have to do that when it comes to putting these little licks and riffs and embedding them in the song. You can sort of just pick out your spots, get in and get out. And then there are times where you might only come in and play 1 or 2 little licks in a whole verse. And you only do that 3 verses in the song, and that's your job. That's it. That's your part. Okay? So it doesn't always have to be 1 note per beat, play it all the time. We do that for practice, and we should still and continue to do that for practice. It's called building your chops, but it's not 100% necessary, okay? So hopefully, that's a little something to sort of keep it in the back of your head and to think about it the next time you practice, right? So by all means, start out as a warm-up, do whatever it is you do, whatever scale it is you like to practice and use when you solo. By all means, do it, and do it as fast as you can, but make sure that you also start thinking of the song differently in terms of little bits and pieces that you can play along to and add to, okay? All right, so as usual, thank you for your ongoing support. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please let me know, any requests, anything like that. Or you can write everything down and ask me live and in person every Tuesday. All right, so we will see you soon. And remember, it's all about the practice. See you later.